I've been a complete loser. And when I think about that for myself, I start to think about all the women that I have fumbled the bag with. That as I reflect upon, I'm like, dude, they were just like asking me to make a move. And I can think about all the women I have weirded out. And I can also think about major decisions if I made in my life would have been so different. I mean, hey, dude, if I invested in Bitcoin when it was like $300, I had like plenty of money. I could have done so well with it. I never would have to work anymore. Ooh. Oh man, I can think about all the life choices and the poor decision making skills I used to have. And, I've stayed up late and woken up early thinking about all of those mistakes and spent time between breakfast and bed self shaming, just like, oh, I can't believe I did that. Oh, that little voice from 7 years ago. Oh, what a, oh, oh my God. And, I've spent a lot of time just really just like, psh, 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 I can't believe it. And I've let people take advantage of me. And I've been arrogant and I've been foolish and I've been envious. I've been greedy. I've been self righteous. I've been gluttonous. I've lusted after women when I really should have just stayed at home. And I've been lazy when I've stayed at home when I really should have been working. I have wasted time. If there is a folly or a thing that I could have done differently, that I should have done differently, I've done it. And on one hand, I can say all that stuff, and yeah, there's a little part of me that's like, ooh, Bitcoin, ooh, those, yeah. But dude, I used to think that way because I wouldn't change anything, if it meant my life now would be different because of that change. And honestly, I think that whether you're in the like stage or like you're starting to be like, oh yeah, hey, look, the sun is rising. Or if you're like, man, hey, I'm sitting in the sun right now, doesn't matter. Because I think that recognizing the transformation of self is so powerful and beautiful. Because I wouldn't trade any of those experiences for the wisdom that I got out of them. Because now I can live a much better life. So, oh man, I mean, I could think about unskilled labor jobs I used to have, like scrubbing things and cleaning toilets and whatever, and doing all that. Ooh. And if I had to do it again, the one thing I would do is I would put an audiobook in my ear. I wouldn't let anyone waste my time with something that I thought was less than what I'm capable. And if you're sitting at a job right now and you feel like you're wasting your potential, hey, you know what? You are. And you're lucky that feeling because if you were just content and you're just sitting there like, haha, I'm getting the best of this company because I'm sitting here and they're still sending me money. No, you're actually getting the worst of that because the amount of money, and I'm using money as a metric for the amount of self development that you can go through, leveling up your skills and understanding yourself deeper on a better level, is impossible. The potential of humans to do things great is unbounded, and it's the greatest untapped resource on the earth, and it will continue to be even after we extend to the stars. And I sincerely mean that. The amount of time that I know personally that I wasted, the amount of time that I spent self doubting myself, the amount of time I spent just really taking away from what my life could be because I felt comfortable inside the box is it's just part of that trade. And once again, if I was half as wise but three times as rich, it would be poor. It would be poverty of the mind. And that's not acceptable. Because wisdom is organized life And if I had the money that I wanted when I was like 18 or 17, dude, like I would, I would have been a terrible person. That would have been awful. I would have been empowered by money to be extra awful. Not like a horrible person, like a bully or something, but I wouldn't have any priorities. I wouldn't have read as much as I have. I wouldn't have explored as much. I wouldn't have taken the risks that ultimately, like, because of the failures I had to take or I wanted to take, or, and that would have been awful. So, I grew up personally with a fair amount of opportunity and a fair amount of chaos. And I kind of was like a little pirate on a sea. I just, followed my own law and my own sense of virtue. But my story is that I was lucky enough to have a few people who cared about me. And, mentors are funny because people think about mentors as somebody who walks you to the goal, but really it's somebody who just kind of stands up from the bushes and points that way, gives you a little bit of extra information, a few more skills to really make your life better. And if I reflect on it from what I've done with my own life, I can really be like, wow, I started in a valley and I'm now at the peak of a mountain and I'm still looking up and I'm like, oh, wow, there's more to climb. Beautiful. Now, and it's the same for you in your own life. Whether you're in that valley right now and you're just like, my mind is a horrible thing that follows me around and constantly degrades me. And I mean, hey, dude, when I was like that, I didn't even recognize how much I was really just driving myself to depression. And I'm not saying depression, like there are people who have chemical imbalances, but I also knew that my brain was like the way I was thinking was just wrong. And a lot of the humility that I've had to experience and I've gotten and I'll continue to have, well, in a different way, but it's just understanding that I had the wrong way of thinking. I was looking at the world from a different perspective that actually was not accurate. And instead of taking in some of that information, I would usually like deflect or, put this way, and really looking at it genuinely, like I would just like eventually kick me in the face enough that I was like, I'm doing something wrong. And I was. And hey, I'm going to keep making mistakes in the future, but hey, if this might help somebody not make the same mistakes, then great. And it's the algorithm knows you better than your family, and it's still on your feed. So I'm just going to say something that maybe in some way the younger version of myself would have heard that maybe made their own life better, or maybe someone else did that and it was one of the small little pieces of dirt that led to the avalanche of change in my life. It's time. It's always time. That's what's funny. Conspire with the universe to get the life that you want. You don't need perfection. That's for fools and pessimists. You need to start. Even 30 seconds is a great start. It's a beautiful start. It's an amazing start. Do not degrade the things that you are doing. It is hard to even start, but to do so is the right step. You don't need perfection. You just need to start. My name is Luke Sims. I am going to be posting a little bit more. I don't know. I'm kind of in the process of, I'm starting an online business. I've started it. And I want to really take some of my writing skills, because I've written for many years, and my communication skills as well. And also some of the explorations that I've done internally around masculinity, because there's a huge dialogue out there currently that, like, on one hand, I think is like hardcore, extreme, and weird. And then on the other side, like I recognize what the underlying pieces are. And that goes from like the left and the right perspective. Like the left perspective being like, oh, society is just a construct of words, and if we change the words, we can control the outcome. And the other one being like, oh no, everything is just biologically driven, and society, like, materialism. Here, I gotta go. I got delivery. Have a good day.